Welcome, boys and girls, to season 6, episode 21 of Isles Talk here this evening. My name is Paul Kreischer. I'm your host this evening. Get ready for a passionate one, boys and girls. This is going to be one where you haven't seen this side of me yet. You guys have not seen this side of me. I've essentially checked out. I've had it. I'm pissed. This has been an ongoing thing now, and this is a big venting session on my part, a big time rant, and this one's going to hit deep. And I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking about mediocrity. Get over that part. I'm going much, much, much deeper than all of this. So, so much so that I purposely did not invite Gary, and I purposely did not invite Joe to this show. Okay, because as you guys see with the title, enough with the underdog. Forget mediocrity. Forget it. Okay. Having said that, don't blame Gary for this one. Gary might be in the chat room. And I can't believe I'm doing this, but don't blame Joe for this one either. These two gentlemen have absolutely they have an idea. They have an idea. Joe just got the idea. They have no idea what I'm about to do. None. They have absolutely no involvement with this at all. So, and I can't believe I got to defend Joe, but here we are. So yeah, don't blame Gary, don't blame Joe. The other thing I'm going to take into consideration right now, and I will try to be as professional as possible here. We will never know what happens in that locker room, that New York Islanders locker room. And yes, I am specifying here the New York Islanders as an organization. Yeah. We will never know what's going to happen behind those closed doors. But it's based off of that fact that I'm about to go off. Okay? Some of this stuff, actually, all of this stuff is just passionate ranting at this point. So forgive me right now if I don't read your comments. Save some of your questions for later on. If Gary joins the chat, by all means, you can ask him. Maybe he'll have an answer. If Joe decides to come on, I know he's busy with what else. The numbers are starting to grow here. So welcome everyone to Isles Talk. This is Paul's rant. Paul's pissed. Paul's pissed. Okay. Now, forget that. Now, we're going deeper, Tommy. We're going so much deeper. Tommy just said, oh, shit. Yep. Yep. So having said that, this is what I want the Islanders to do for the rest of this season. People are going to tell me, what do you think the Islanders are going to do? You know, what's going to change? Yada, yada, yada. Forget that. I'm going to tell you what I want tonight based off of my frustration with this whole organization. So you're going to have to go along and play along here. Okay? And again, we'll never know what happened in the locker room. Having said that, nine games left. I want the Islanders to go 7-0-2, whatever the hell record is. But I want them to miss the playoffs by 1 point. Don't give a crap about the draft. I've said this before, 9 through 15, no difference. No difference. One half dozen of another. Someone from 6 or 7 could drop down to 15. Don't care. I want the Islanders to miss the playoffs by 1 point. Why? Because it's what they deserve. I do not care about the rest of the season. I don't care if they make the playoffs. Getting their butts handed to them, that'll be an afterthought. Making the money in the playoffs, that'll be an afterthought. I'm going much deeper than this. When did I suddenly tap out with the New York Islanders for this season? Last week, 2 weeks ago. You had games against Columbus, Montreal, and when you had Tampa Bay, you had the backup goaltender at the last minute. The last minute. You finally have a chance to be better than the Rangers this season. Even with the short amount of games right now this past week, and you blow it. Forget about the games against Carolina and that last game against Tampa Bay. Those 3 games right there, you blew it. At home, no less. Those first 2 games, Columbus and Montreal, you can't pull out wins. You can't beat them in regulation. You deserve to get as close as you can to the playoffs and miss it by 1 point. That's what I want to see. I want to see you guys look at the standings for the rest of the summer, and I want you to have that eaten out of your guts and have it eaten out of your hearts. I want that in your heads for the rest of the summer because that's what you deserve. You don't deserve the playoffs. You deserve to be underdogs. There is no Cinderella story for you. You don't deserve one. You deserve to linger outside of the playoffs and have it fest inside your heads all the way through training camp. That includes players, coaches, general manager, owners, whoever you are. You don't deserve it. None of you do. The fans deserve it. The fans, oh my God. Fans are a different story. You guys, no. Those 3 games were your golden opportunities to do something, to really do something. I'm tired of the blown leads. I'm tired of losing to the Rangers in one of the biggest games of the regular season last year and falling apart. I'm tired of everyone playing the underdog role. I'm tired of the, we played well, but you still lost. I'm tired of watching an underdog team play like underdogs all the damn time. Yep. I'm not singling out players. I refuse to do that. You want to prove people wrong? You want to prove to each other that you can do it? All you're proving is what Joe and I said back in January 9th. You guys have problems playing together. All of you, coaches, players, whatever. You all have a problem. I'll get into some of them in a minute. All right, so you guys missed the playoffs by 1 point. I hope to God there's a laundry list of injuries to you guys. I will delete this show. I will humbly apologize. But I better see a bunch of injuries to you guys, especially to that left shoulder of Ilya Sorokin. Because by God, if there isn't an injury to him, everyone knows to shoot at your goddamn glove side. I hope, and I mean this with the utmost respect, that you've got some kind of injury with your left shoulder. I'm hoping there are other players who are playing through hearts, their guts, whatever, through their injuries, so that way they, legitimate excuses for not making the playoffs. I really do. And I will take back every word I said tonight. I'll donate to all your freaking charities. I got to see a laundry list of injuries that you're playing through. Because if not, if there isn't a laundry list of injuries to all you guys, whoever doesn't want to be an Islander, get out. Okay? You want to talk about trades, the contracts, and whatnot? Guess what, boys and girls? Threaten the players with Bridgeport. Threaten the players with the American Hockey League. Watch them terminate the contracts. They'll move. They'll leave. I'd rather the Islanders start over like that. You don't want to be Islanders? Get out. You don't want the responsibility of wearing that crest in front of you? Get out. Because you're not looking like Islanders right now. The 90s were more fun than you guys. The effort was there, but we knew there wasn't the talent. There's some talent to get over freaking, 87 points? And collectively, you guys can't do that. How is that possible? We're not even asking you to get to 92 or 93 points, 86, 87 points. You guys can't do that. How is that possible? Matt Barzal cannot be the only reason why you can't get over 87 points to make it a playoff spot. You were literally gift wrapped it with 8th place. And yet you guys still find ways to screw it up. You don't want to be an Islander? Get out. We don't want you here. What else do I want to see this summer? Don't extend Patrick Waugh. Don't do it. Don't bother. I want to see if he still wants to coach being a lame duck coach. I want to know if it's really the players who are sucking wind under his system or the system isn't working in the NHL. I'd give him the year to prove it. That's fine. The worst power play I think I've ever seen in my life, and I'm old at this point. Probably one of the worst penalty kills of all time. I don't know, maybe the 90s could challenge that. But why do I have to hear the power play has been good lately. The penalty kill has been good lately. Why lately? Why is that key word always in there? Why can't we have this longer than just lately? Why is it such a short term solution? And it pisses me off even more because at the beginning of the season, Gary and I had said, and I know others have said it too, a basic power play and a basic penalty kill. This is a 100-point team, injuries aside. The moment the penalty killing started improving, folks, the second half team was over 100-point pace. Do you understand how much that's pissing me off right now? We put in the work to show you guys that, yes, it is possible, and the Islanders actually start doing it. Okay, we feel a little better about it. Why wasn't that implemented before? Why weren't players following that system before when it was working? The power play, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. If the coaches don't want to be here, get rid of them too. Calling out players at game 74, 75, you might also be the problem, coach. Sorry. If you still have to call out players now, I don't think it's just the players anymore. He picked an easy target. There's a couple more easy targets there as well that have not been called out that should be called out. But again, we don't know what's going on in the locker room. We don't know what the other injuries are. An amazing story. Losing Brock Nelson at the trade deadline, and who gets you into the playoffs? Pierre-Engvall. It's about as Islander-like as it's going to get. Does Pierre-Engvall know that Patrick Waugh is not going to be coach next year? Is that why he's now scoring in bunches? Who the hell knows? This is not just on the players. Are the players not buying into the system? And if they are you just being outcoached? Sorry. Not sorry. You have 1 year to get this shit together. If you don't like being a lame duck coach, see ya. Resign. Do us all the favor. Tired of being an underdog. Tired of this team not taking advantage of other teams and losing the way they have. 17, 15, and what? 2 is an absolute disgrace. Okay. Let me show you this stat real quick, boys and girls. When the Islanders are leading after 2 periods, they're 23, 2, and 4 this year, plus or minus a few games because I just don't give a shit at the moment. When they're tied, they're 4, 5, and 5. So when the Islanders are either tied or leading after the second period, 27, 7, and 9. When they score the first goal, it's 17, 4, and 5. Why can't we do that all the time? It's there. They've been able to do it even without Matt Barzal now for a full year. This is no longer a talent thing. This is a heart thing. This is, do I really want to be an Islander thing? This is a locker room issue. This is an organization issue. And this is part of a coaching thing, which is going to lead me to my next one. Bring in an associate coach. Give me an an associate coach who's been a defenseman before, who's got a little more experience, who's actually going to light a flame under Patrick Roy's butt and threaten him with his job. Because he knows if he starts losing this team, that associate coach is going to take over. Forget this whole, I believe in this group, I trust in this group. No, there is no trust anymore. You've broken that trust. I'll get into that later. Bring in an associate coach. Can't have as many coaches. Do it. Better work on your communication, that's for sure. You better have a power play and penalty kill ready by the beginning of the season, that's for sure. Not lately. Underdogs do lately. Now, you guys are going to love this next one. Move Lou Lamoriello to president. And I have president in quotes. Julien Gauthier, injured during Bridgeport. Frederick Karlstrom, who probably should have been your number 3 centerman if he was healthy on the Islanders right now, he got injured. You lost Oliver Wahlstrom to waivers. Then you trade Brock Nelson for a player who's not playing in the NHL now and a first-round draft pick. Wonderful. You have successfully made your team sacrificial lamb for the rest of the NHL who are trying to get into the playoffs. There's only 2 guys I know, 2 general managers as a fan that I know that does work early in January, February, or whatnot. It's Rutherford and Lou Lamoriello. And that didn't happen. Those injuries were a long time ago, boys and girls. And the way Anthony Duclair is playing, I probably would have taken Julien Gauthier any time of the week. At least he would have put up 5 goals by now. Frederick Karlstrom probably would have been a breath of fresh air depending on the speed of him in the NHL. There's no depth. You let all the depth go this year, this summer, this season. What do I want to see? The moment this season is over, I want you to spend your last year in the press box with your hands folded on a table, and all you do is watch. You are president by title and nothing more. I want you to sit there and watch, and you do absolutely nothing your last year, because that would be worse than firing you. As much as these players get to just watch the summer go by, missing the playoffs by 1 point, you get to sit for another season with your hands together, and all you have to do is just watch the game. Lift all the rules, everything you did, but you just get to sit there and watch. You left this team to be sacrificial lambs for the final 20 games of this season with no help, nothing. As I said, Pierre-Emval willing his way to the Islanders is nothing short of Dubowitz taking the Islanders to the playoffs back in 06, 07, whenever the hell that was. Okay? Nothing was done to help this team. You don't deserve another year. Yes, the money was made up. Yes, you are definitely the reason or a reason why the salary cap is going to go up. But I do not believe you when you say you believe in this core. You don't deserve to make the changes that you are probably going to make. You left this team out hung and dry to be slaughtered for the rest of this season. I'm pissed. Tired of being an underdog. And for those of you who continue to say this is insanity, stop using the word. Okay? Insanity is a legal term. It's not a psychiatric term. It's a legal term. So unless you're a lawyer, stop using the word insanity in front of me. I don't even care who the next general manager is. As long as all the rules are lifted, whatever you have to take to bring in free agents in here, whatever you got to do. But I want you to watch these games and do absolutely nothing. Because that's what you did for this team at the trade deadline. You did nothing. You wasted that time. And if you couldn't make a trade because it takes two to trade, guess what? Another reason why you probably shouldn't be there anymore. You said there are going to be changes. Man, you're going to be held to that. No one's defended you more than I have. I've been ripped apart quite a few times. You're going to make changes? You better make changes. You probably won't see this anyway, so it won't matter. Stop making us an underdog. I'm tired of being an underdog. The only thing in this sports world and being an Islanders fan is being a Jets fan. Make the changes. This goes for all of you in that organization. We're tired of being underdogs. We're tired of playing second fiddle to the Rangers. You don't deserve anything for the rest of this season. You don't deserve the All-Star game either. I'll throw that if you want me to throw in here for the owners. You don't deserve the All-Star game. Everything that's happened in the last part of the season, unacceptable. You don't like being on Long Island? Get out. Let me rephrase that. You don't like being a New York Islander? Get out. There's quite a few of you that like Long Island or love Long Island. That's fine. You don't like being an Islander? Get out. Mutually terminate your contracts. You don't want to be here? Tell Lou. Lou, make those trades. If not, send them down to Bridgeport. At least the AHL will get improved. That way we'll have more depth. Yeah, see, that's not going to be the problem. I will never tell. I will never tell a fan, a loyal fan, how to spend their money. If they want to continue to support their team, they're going to support their team. I'm completely pissed at this point that every opportunity the Islanders have been gifted, they squander. Had the Islanders won those 3 games, okay, and struggled the last 2, I'm a little more sympathetic. You understand? Those were some tough games. I'm tired of always trying to come back. I'm tired of always trying to watch this team come back. I'm tired of always watching this team only play 20 minutes and give it that good gun ho try that, but we played well, but that's hockey. No, that's not hockey. You didn't win. I've been very discouraged with those 3 games. It was a gift wrap moment. And to be honest with you, they don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want it. You all deserve what's coming ahead of you, whether it's the playoffs or not, whatever. You guys have got to start showing signs that you guys are going to play for each other at this point. If that means following the system, follow the damn system. You got 9 games left. Show us something. If the system doesn't work, well, we know what's going to happen there. Show up these last 9 games, will you please? Whatever hell games you have, but it doesn't matter. I'm not watching them anyway. I'm already tapped out. I'm frustrated with the crap. That stupid, shitty underdog mentality. No, Tommy, I haven't watched any games. No, I have completely checked out. I checked out after the first period in that Tampa game. I checked out. I was done. I don't even want to tell you guys the record, the Islanders' record after two periods. You don't even want to know. You don't want to. You don't want to know. So that's my rant, Poison Girls. Um, it really wasn't a long time coming, but those 3 games from me, 3.5. Call it, Tampa Bay. You're playing against the backup goaltender. You got to put a little more effort into it, and it's forget about the mediocrity. They just look like they don't want. Some of them want to be Islanders. A lot of them don't, and that's not us. That's not. So rant over. Water cooler talk time. Um, yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I don't plan on watching the rest of the games. I've tapped out. And it's not just Lou anymore, guys. This is a locker room thing. Joe and I said that months ago, and it's prevalent now. Oh, yeah, no. Unfortunately, Randy, this is decades long. We always make the backup look like a Vezina Trophy winner. I don't get that either, but that's part of it. That's part of it. The Islanders are giving themselves a gift, and they just find a way to mess it up. I, I don't know. I don't know. Ah, you know what, Tim? I love his hustle, and believe me, I've seen some of the moves he's made. I've seen some of the goals he's tried to make. He's almost there. Like I'm not expecting him to score 15 goals, but that's one kid I don't know if I would put him in that category. He is trying his ass off. I think he needs that big monkey. He's got a big monkey on his back. He really does. But this is I'm not gonna call out one player or protect another. I This is the entire team. This is the entire organization. This is a collective failure on their part. A collective failure. They're all to blame. Yeah. Third and fourth line play hard. Homer works, but no results. Other than that, oh, changes, sure, make them. Oh, and I'm going to add this too. I, I'm waiting to hear. I take full responsibility for this season, or something along that line. Yeah, change your narrative, please. We all know that line's coming. That's almost like a John Tavares type of line. I take full responsibility for what happened this season. Yeah, do something about it because I know they just won't let you sit up in the press box with your hands together just watching the game. I know that's not going to happen. Do something. Do more than something. I don't know, Jeff. And that's why I said at the beginning of the show, injuries are going to play a role, and if they do, I will take everything back. Like if we have some severe injuries going on, and these players are playing with some severe injuries or whatnot, just trying to finish up the season, I will take back everything I just said right here. But as of right now, we don't know. And those three games in particular just set me off, which is why I'm doing the show. I would not be able to do another show unless I didn't get this off my chest. Tommy, we haven't had a first line since like what? I go Oposo, Tavares, and Bailey. I probably would have considered them a first line. So what are we talking? 8 years? They still should have made the playoffs. They should. We're talking 87 points to make the playoffs, Tommy. This is a team that should still do it. No, why? Why buy them out? Screw that. They're getting paid for doing nothing. No, send them down to the American Hockey League or threaten them with that at least. They don't like it. Oh well, contract termination, mutual. See ya. No, make them play for the contract. We did it with Pierre Enval. Why can't we do it with other people? Why can't we do it for other players? Most of their contracts are modified no trade clauses. Has nothing to do with no movement clauses. Send them down. You won't have to worry about Bridgeport sucking anymore. That's another topic that I already discussed. Because the kids are all rookies, Greg. Right now, you're looking at 19 rookies on Bridgeport. They're not ready. And the other veterans that are there, they were injured or still are. You want to talk about an expansion team, that's Bridgeport. Yeah, don't worry about Ledecky. Don't worry about Ledecky. That's Bob Euchre, just a bit outside. Baseball season. No, Ed, I'm gonna suggest you go back and watch the whole show there, bud. As soon as this show's over, no, I did not say they were gonna make the playoffs. That's not what I want them to do. No. Yeah, no. Caleb Ritchie? Uh it's a great question, Jeff, because he's a combination of a few players, few Islander players. But for now, maybe a third line center with the potential to be a two, kind of like a Franz Nielsen role. He probably should have stayed at third, but did a decent job depending on who he was with at second. What type of a player is he really going to be? Michael Pekka with a better scoring touch? Maybe Michael Pekka in 01-02 when Michael Pekka first showed up. That would be a great, great comparison if that ever, like style wise, that would be something. I don't think Caleb's going to be that. I don't think Cal's going to be that physical, obviously with different eras, but maybe a Selke consideration because that's what Pekka was. Maybe in that line. Cameron Berg, I know. At least someone watches this show. Yeah, Cameron Berg, he signed a PTO. Okay, so let's get this right. So then that way I don't get in trouble here. I'm already in trouble. Um, Berg did sign a PTO. The hope is that he signs a. I would imagine it's a 2-year ELC, sometime in this before August 1st. I think it is. So something like that. Yeah, Richie is a great passer. He is. Um, it's tough to put Richie in a category of Islander centers because I think the goal for me at some point with Richie is just to say years down the road, who does he remind you of? I would like to say Cal Richie because I think he is going to be a little bit different than Pekka. He's going to be a little different than Franz, but he could be a little combination of the both. He could have Franz's passing, which wasn't bad, but that two-way skill, I think Pekka was still better. So I'm hoping Richie becomes his own Islander, if you know what I mean. Hogberg worth keeping. No, no, no. If there's another legitimate backup goaltender who's going to be better than Hogberg, sign him. Again, we don't know the injuries with Semyon Varlamov. We don't know. If he's injured and can no longer play, you use the contract now as an asset. You can either add more payroll or you can send him. Let me rephrase that. You can send the contract a la Johnny Boychuk to whatever team who needs to get up to the cap floor. But if you can find a goaltender who's better than Hogberg at this point, you sign him and you send Hogberg back down. You sign another backup goaltender to be the number 3 down there if Hogberg doesn't clear waivers. A number 3 or a number 4, whoever that is. But if you can find a better backup than Hogberg, you sign him. If that's what you meant by keeping him, yeah, you want to keep him in the organization, sure. But no, if you can find a better goaltender than Hogberg, you do it. Who realistically gets moved over the summer? Personally, Robin, I don't care. I'm that pissed. I don't care who goes. Again, if you don't want to be a New York Islander, get out. That's how I'm playing armchair GM right now. You don't want to be an Islander, get out. And I agree with that, Angie. Absolutely. Richie does have, he needs to work on his skating, no doubt. But it's just like every other junior player. Am I excited for Cal Richie? Absolutely. And I've said this before. The Islanders would probably benefit bringing in another free agent, sign him to a contract for 1 year or 2 while Richie works on his skating, works at the pro level in the American League, because it's still a development league. And then if there are injuries to the team, you bring them up with no expectations, just like you did with Isaiah George this year. I don't think you're going to keep Cal up for that long, but you have to get, the feeling out. But I would treat him the same way as I would Isaiah George. I like to do comparisons in terms of style, Rich. Yeah, believe me, again, not so much the hitting, but there is a little bit of physicality to Richie that Nielsen didn't have. So there's a little bit of a style there that I like him as a Michael Pekka. Not numbers wise, but he could put up the numbers depending on the offense. That's what I would love to see. But a style wise, maybe a better scoring Michael Pekka. Just in terms of style. He's not afraid to get into the corners either. He's not afraid to play that little rugged game that we're honestly needing. No, D'Angelo is the best defenseman they have. He's the best offensive defenseman. And look, folks, this is what I'm going to say before. I did the numbers. I'm tired of going through them all the time. The Islanders, when the Islanders defense scores 2 or 3 points in a game, they don't lose. They don't lose. For the sake of the next 9 games, sit Pelech, sit Pulock, play Romanoff, play Mayfield, have Mayfield try to knock people around, play Boquist, play Dobson, play D'Angelo, have them all play like a forward role. Just do a complete shooting gallery. Add the offense to it. That's what I would do at this point. That's how much I don't care. Let the defense try to run that offense. That's it. Run the scores up 7-6, 6-5, 8-7. I don't care. Do something that works. I don't know. What's up, Cutler? You guys are going to like what I said on the show on the Misery Group, that's for sure. No, and again, Brian, I don't think everyone should be traded. Anyone who doesn't want to be an Islander at this point, see ya. They don't. It's not just being a New York Islander, Greg. Players legitimately love Long Island. They love Long Island. People who have the money and can afford Long Island will live on Long Island. It's beautiful. It's everything. What it's not is the city, which, in all honesty, a lot of players like sometimes. They don't like that big spotlight. There are a lot of people, and even the alumni, they've all said they love Long Island. They grew up on Long Island. A lot of players didn't want to get traded when it happened. They loved living on Long Island. It's just that people don't really know what Long Island is. They don't realize it until they get there. Ovi got one. Beautiful. Oh, Adam Oates passing. Oh, I get the idea. I get it. Oh, I don't know if I want to go. Adam Oates, Detroit Red Wings, maybe. Adam Oates, Detroit Red Wings, maybe. I don't know if I want to put Cal Ritchie that high. Not yet. Hogberg as a third, yes. Yeah, I know we're talking about Lou. And you guys already know my feelings on him. Varley, his career is done. We'll find out. I if it is a knee, it might be. I don't know. But we'll find out. Yeah, believe it or not, Tim, there's a lot of goalies that duck on the big shots. A lot of them do. Trade everyone. Oh God. Ovi break the record this season? Yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to. And I'll tell you why. The Washington Capitals have pretty much locked up first place in the division. They've locked up first place in the conference. They're playing for Ovi at this point. They know that winning still matters. They want to do as much as they can, but they've got enough of a comfortable lead right now that they want to get Ovi to that record before the playoffs. No doubt. Because then that's just another stepping stone. You know what I mean? So yeah. Setting myself up for disappointment by saying what? Probably. I'm already disappointed. I just don't care anymore, Rich. I don't know if I can get any worse, but where did I go wrong with the setting myself up for disappointment? Look, believe it or not, Samuel Bolduc has done a lot of growing up this year. There's a lot of maturing to the point where he has been wearing a letter on some of the Bridgeport games, and that was some high praise from the coaching staff down there. They're finally seeing the maturity that they were hoping to see out of him. And again, he's put up some good offensive numbers, but defensively, yeah. But the maturity is there. I don't know what they would do with him. So I wonder what draft pick will end up with. That's our Stanley Cup. I'm definitely not thinking Stanley Cup. Richie's a great junior. Will it translate to the bigs? And that's Robin. That's been a pet peeve of mine for a while. I don't know if the Canadian Hockey League as a whole really prepares those junior kids for the professional ranks well enough. I don't. I don't. For those of you who are probably new to the show, and Robin will probably concur, so will Angie. For me, the Canadian Hockey League is like high school baseball down here in the States, but you've got your overagers, you got some 18, 19, 20-year olds still playing. But again, you got your top pitcher's going to pitch without using anybody else. Um, Mom and dad's complain that your kid's not getting enough ice time. That kind of happens as well. Some of these coaches like to keep their jobs, so they're going to do whatever it can to actually win. I don't know about the development part of the CHL. I don't think they properly get those kids ready for professional leagues, which is why a lot of these kids are now going to go to college to further that development so that way they can get somewhere in the pros, whether it's the American League or the National League. But that's just my opinion. That's not a bad comparison. Even Ryan, but they all worked on it, Jim. They all worked on their skating like everyone else has to. Oh, really? A happy birthday going out to Brian. Another, yes, yeah, sometimes he's the man. Let's not go crazy here, but happy birthday going out to Brian. And that's what you want to see, Angie. First round of the Ontario Hockey League playoffs. You want to see him do something in the playoffs, no doubt. That's another level to junior hockey and it's another form of development for a lot of these kids. How well are they going to perform in a pressure situation? Long Island is a dump? I don't know if it's a dump. I mean, I go back and forth there. Granted, you're definitely crowded than you used to be, no doubt. But I don't know if I wouldn't. And I used to live there. I love visiting when I have the time. I wouldn't call Long Island a dump just yet. True. Ovi just scored. There we go. Why doesn't word get out about Long Island? Great question. Um, because we have one of the smallest fan bases in all of the NHL. Out of the 32 teams, I think we're what, 27, 28, despite winning 4 Stanley Cups. We're one of the smallest fan bases. One of the biggest mistakes the Islanders made was keeping the Islanders centralized on Long Island. We're not a New York club. We're a Long Island club. Well, that's now backfired. Okay. There are benefits. There were benefits to playing in Brooklyn. No doubt. Now you got a few Brooklyn fans. You got more Long Island fans. Now you're basically in Queens. You're home there. So you're trying to get away from that Long Island narrative to now New York. You know what I mean? You're always going to have the Long Island roots, don't get me wrong. Those Long Island roots are going to get the Islanders further at some point, but you need more of New York than just Long Island anymore. And that's why word didn't get out. No one knows about Long Island until you actually get here. That's how it is. They know of the Islanders. Some of the history hasn't been great. Some of it's been okay. Recently, it's been okay. But they don't know about Long Island until they actually get here. And then they love it. Yeah, that's what I said Adam Oates of Detroit. I think that was Adam Oates' rookie year. Oh, believe it or not, Nick, every team has a cul-de-sac group. Every team has at least 4 or 5 players now with long-term contracts. It's a players' league. Every team's got a cul-de-sac, unless you're just starting off like Chicago. But even Anaheim, Buffalo's had them. It's just part of the process. You know, we've got 32 teams, soon to be 34, right? Whatever we have. And you're going to get a salary cap of 115 million, if not more, right? So every team's going to have a cul-de-sac, core, whatever you want to call it. It's every team. There we go. Fire everyone. That Russian college kid. Listen, Bridgeport, sure. What does he do in camp? Who knows? I did cover him a little bit in in the draft, so I kind of remembered the name because it had a unique name. Um, it's the same thing with the junior kids. I want to see what they do professionally now. I want to see what they do, how they adapt to the speed of the game because it is going to be faster. Could he just turn into be a depth player? Maybe, but it's better than some of the draft picks that we've had, right? And this is the funny thing. Let's say these kids, and it's not just him. Let's just play all these college kids. Let's say they get to play 20 games throughout their entire Islander career. That's better than any fourth round pick or third round pick. Think about it. You just got those college kids after they've been developed, and they're worth somewhere in the second round because it just from the amount of games played. That's how much of a crapshoot the draft actually is at this point. So for me, let's just see what he can do. I don't put any expectations on these kids, especially in their first year. Never. That's right, Greg. And that's why I'm pissed. They've got a bunch of I would probably say more good players than meh, but they're not coming together as a team. That's bothering me. That's the thing that bothers me the most. The most. Brian, this was a different type of segment today. You're gonna have to watch from the beginning. Um, I had said I want the Islanders to miss the playoffs by 1 point, and I want Lou to be promoted to president, where he just sits in the press box for the entire season to do nothing, because that's what he deserves at the moment. Um, Having said that, that probably won't happen. Um, he needs to clean house first and foremost. Whoever doesn't want to be here, get rid of him. He's got to make moves. Period. I don't care what they are. He's got to do it. He has no choice. Trade JG Pajot and Mayfield this offseason. Okay. I 100% want to see Enval gone, but Lou will do nothing because he woke up. I don't know about that. He did increase his trade value. We need to get faster and tougher points. We need scoring, real scoring, like first and second liner. Okay. Agreed. Not wrong. Not wrong. But again, that locker room needs to be fixed. I don't want to bring anybody in here with that crappy locker room. And again, that's not on all of the players. But as a collective, as a team, it's crappy. Clean out the locker room, then bring the players in that are needed to win this, so that way the Islanders are no longer underdogs. Brock 2.0 Besser. Well, the only reason why I brought up Brock Besser, I don't know, must have been November or whatnot, or December, during water cooler talk. You guys had actually asked me, any of the free agents out there. So I just did some quick work, and it's like, look, Who is better than Kyle Palmieri at that point? And really, the only person that I thought was going to be available at the free agency was Brock Besser. The only reason why I came up with that name. Granted, I believe he's still friends with Matt Barzell, and that's probably going to help. And if he has any kind of a decent relationship left with Bo Horvat, that's it. But in all honesty, Brock Besser at the time when I looked, he was the only, you know, he was probably the only one doing better or the same as Kyle Palmieri was. Lou doesn't have it anymore. Lou will turn 83 next year. I wish you guys would stop with the 83. He's actually done quite a bit like a lot of the other younger general managers have. And I've already been told this before. If Lou was say 70, there are other teams that would have taken him in a heartbeat. So get rid of the whole 83 thing. When will the owners say enough is enough? Well, I can answer that. Okay, they've made up their money. They made their money back from those two COVID cups when they had to play at Nassau Coliseum. All that money, that day-to-day operation stuff, that's already paid off. This is the first time in God knows how long, 50 some odd years, the Islanders organization is actually in the green. Think about that. Land rich and now money rich. Go figure. Never happened. Okay. Both Lou and Chris have to go, or it's going to be the same garbage next year. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Does Pandolfo leave BU to coach the Bruins? God, I hope not. If so, does Eiserman join the Isles? God, I hope not. No, no. I've said this before with Eiserman. Um, I want him to stay in college for one more year, minimum. Um, number one, for that maturing process. Number two, I think he's going to have a bigger role with BU next season. And I think he's going to have a bigger role with Team USA during the World Junior Championships. I want to see him. He is Mr. Clutch. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I want to see him in a leadership role. You know what I mean? There's another level that I want to see Cole Eiserman hit before before the Islanders bring him over. And keeping him as a sophomore in BU would be the way to go. And then, depending on how Bridgeport does next season, will determine whether or not I would bring Eiserman into a better environment with Bridgeport or the Islanders or whatnot, depending on where they are. But for me, Eiserman needs minimum one more year over at BU. As far as Pandolfo going to BU, I would be a little disappointed in that. He's doing really well over there. I would soak that up. And again, the problem with the NHL, you have a span of maybe 2 years, three, maybe. Pandolfo doesn't have to go anywhere in BU. You talk about a safety net. He's got that. I don't know if he would want to be a coach for just 2 or 3 years and then all of a sudden axed because the players aren't buying into the system. Ryan Leonard is going to be good. Look, if Washington does it right, Ryan Leonard should still start in Hershey. Let him grow the way Connor McMichael did and the way the other ones did. Let him go through that same process. Ryan Leonard will not have a problem spending at least his first year in Hershey, knowing how well Hershey has been the last couple of years. And really, Hershey's not bad to live at, to be honest with you guys. Obviously, I live in PA, but I've been down there enough times. It's not a bad place to live. Uh, um, Maggio needs to hit the weight room. Yeah, Maggio needs to hit the weight room. Maggio's 200-foot game is improving, but next season, Charles, I wouldn't be upset if he got a little taste as a call up. I wouldn't. I'd be happy for him. I don't think he would look out of place either. You know, he's another kid who does listen to the coach for the most part. You know, but conditioning, weight room for the summer, and we'll see how good of a camp he really has. But for me, next season, I wouldn't mind if he was a call up. I don't think that would be a problem. Where has Holmstrom disappeared to? Listen, he's been given a larger role this year. I don't know if it's just burnout. Um, it's that consistency that he needs to get for himself. I think this is more of a mental thing for him than anything else. We're starting to see him put things together for himself as a player. This is a year where I think he just might be a little burnt out. My personal opinion. I could be wrong, but again, injuries, I don't know yet. Michael Misa, I know he's leading the juniors in scoring. Michael Misa, to my knowledge, is going number 2. If the Islanders win the draft or they get the number 2 pick, bingo. I would take Michael Misa over Higgins. Those of you who want a really great player, that might be Michael Misa. Maybe. Long Island is beautiful. I know I've already been yelled at. I haven't been down there enough. Got yelled at by enough family members, so I got to make a trip down because I'll go missing at some point. Yeah, Frank Saravelli raves about Richie. That's fine. I'm not gonna lie, boys and girls. I don't follow Saravelli when it comes to scouting reports. I'll just leave it at that. Agreed. Agreed. And that's going to be the other question. Where's Matt Barzell going to be playing next season? Is he going to be the number 1 centerman? Is he going to be the number 2 centerman? We're going to find out. And if that decision's already made, well, we better find a forwards to actually play with Matt Barzell because that's been the problem. So we'll go along with that. Um, David, I actually have that specific number. I'll let you guys know next week. I just don't want to putz with the system right now because I'm the only one here. But I do have those numbers, and I don't think we're 22 or 23. We are lower than that. I think we have like 300 some odd thousand fans, and that's about it. Um, yeah, it's still low, but I will get those numbers for you next week. That's my little homework assignment. You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there. Folks, if you want to block him, go right ahead. By all means, go right ahead. He's laughing anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt. Well, we're trying to grow here on YouTube. It is. We do this generically. You know, people want to do YouTube, that's fine. We get a lot of our fan base from, Facebook and a little bit of X. Having said that, boys and girls, if you would like to subscribe and like on YouTube, please by all means, hit those buttons properly for YouTube. Get us out there a little bit more. I do think Siplikov has a little bit of upside. Again, this is his first year. Um, I thought he's done well for the fact that he's playing in a smaller rink. Um, Getting to know all the rules, stuff like that. Siplikov, not only is he a rookie in this league, but he's also a free agent. Free agents like him normally take about a year or two. Normally, by that second year, he already knows what he's getting himself into, so he's a little more prepared. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more out of Siplikov next year, but we'll see. Yeah, every team's collecting college free agents. How many times I got to tell you that? That's going to be the new way to go. They're going to be more ready to go than draft picks. Draft picks are going to help, but college free agents are going to help you now, which is why the league is expanding to begin with. College free agents are going to get better as the years go on now. Winning cures everything. That's correct, but there's a certain way to win now. Underdog is not it. That's got to stop. I already mentioned the records when the Islanders are leading after 2. The underdog thing has got to stop. Greg, honestly, I don't even know what the hell to call this thing. A character flush. Seriously. Ah, it's a character flush, character sweep, whatever you want to use, bro. Um, from a stats point of view, just a retool. Just a retool. But, clean out that locker room. Clean it out. That includes coaches if you have to too. Like, do something. So it's a good question though, especially at this point. Lou's going to trade it for a player in the draft. Trade the first for a player in the draft. I don't think so. I don't think so. And the reason why I say that, John, is because I think even 9 through 15, you're still looking at a solid 3 years away for that other team. I don't think a team like Chicago or Anaheim is going to do that. I don't even think San Jose is going to do that. I think you're going to see everyone for right now, and it's early, April 2nd. I think you're going to see teams just draft, get this done and over with. And I think they're just going to make the most of it. This is not I don't want to say talented draft, but this year's draft in particular is definitely going to take longer than most other drafts. Doesn't mean the quality's not there, but they're going to take a little longer. So if there is a team, I'm going to go like this. Let's say Vegas. Let's say Tampa Bay, Florida. Some of those guys, some of those teams who have made some long cup runs, but they could use a little more help in the cupboard. But they're still going to continue to win. But they want to get in some draft picks. This is their draft. This is their draft. This is the type of draft for them. The Islanders need as many first round picks as possible. They just got one in Richie with 2023. They got one with Yzerman in 2024. Let them continue to draft in 25 and 26. That would be the Dallas Stars way of doing it. The Dallas Stars have always drafted their first rounders, always, and I think that's the Islanders need to adopt that as well if they want to have any kind of continued success. Oh. All right, well played. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. No, Chris, I don't want Lou fired. I just don't want him making any more decisions, but that's not going to happen. No, I want Lou to sit there and watch next season and do absolutely nothing. That's worse than firing. And he did, and I already discussed that one. Yep. He sacrificed this team like lambs, sacrificial lambs for the final 20 some odd games of the season. Sorry. Maybe. Maybe. Hell no. Yeah. Well, yeah, you grow facial hair, in the playoffs you win the cups, but look, I again, I'm old. I understand, why Lou put those rules in there. The Yankees have been doing it for years. Um, and if the players don't mind, it doesn't really matter what we say or do or think. Um, but after this season, I already said what I said. So, well, no, again, I don't think he would, but again, I'd rather just see him as president and just have him sit there and watch with no other decisions to be made. Have the other general manager come in, whoever the hell that is, have him bring in his own coach or whatnot. I just want Lou to sit there for the entire season and do nothing. That's better than just firing. Yes, that's true. Besser does want out of Vancouver. So we'll see what happens. The price team is the St. Louis Blues. Yes, I agree with that. St. Louis is going to be fun to watch. I still think Colorado and Dallas is going to be my highlight over in the Western Conference. Um, don't dismiss LA. I think that whole Western Conference is going to be phenomenal to watch. Um, Out of the East, Tampa Bay sneaky good. Part of me's rooting for Washington ever so slightly. I don't know if Carolina's still there. The Devils are just holding on. I don't know. I don't know. The Toronto and Tampa Bay going at it probably for what, the 17th time in a row, whatever it is now. I think that would play differently this year. How do you say what you said about Lou and still defend him? Because he won't sit on, he just won't be sitting there. I know that. That's more of a venting session for me. That's what I would like to see happen as a fan. I know that's not going to happen. I'm not necessarily defending him. Um, he's got a lot to prove at this point. You know, I'm really not defending Lou. It's just that, are we really going to see Lou just sit up in the press box and do nothing? Probably not. So if that's what you're referring to, Rich, if not, help me out a little bit and I'll explain it better. 'Yeah, no, this is a collective effort, David. This is an entirely collective effort. Yeah. This is not just one or the other. I will say, yes, Sorokin has kept the Islanders in the games, but man, there are times, and I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think there's a couple of times, especially lately, where he probably could have, stolen a game for us or for the Islanders. That didn't happen. But again, I'm hoping to see some kind of an injury list, laundry list of some kind. Um, Pandolfo has gone public. He's not leaving BU. Okay, here we go. Yep. 83 is a huge number for a GM, and he hasn't won since he was 63. That's true, but there was an even bigger number, 115 million. Yeah, guys, I will fight you all on this, and it's not going to look good for you guys. Okay, this was about making up money, and one way to do it was the playoffs. This was all about money the last 3, 4 years now. 115 million in the hole in day-to-day operations is not going to get you a Stanley Cup. When you had Barry Trotz as your head coach that first year at UBS Arena, and you got nailed with COVID, and the NHL didn't help you with the scheduling, right? We remember that part. The Islanders went 0-8-2, basically from games 10 through 20. You're an expansion club. Bottom line, one of the winningest coaches in hockey, and he couldn't bring the kids and the older vets, whoever was left there, you couldn't win a game. You're an expansion franchise, folks. And I'm pretty sure the NHL told the Islanders, make the playoffs, make the money, please. We got our own debts to pay off. But the salary cap never went up until recently. The old man kept this team relevant from a financial standpoint. That part I will defend him. Now that that money has been made up, from a financial standpoint, no doubt. A lot of owners absolutely love what he did the last 4 years, whether we like it or not. But from a hockey standpoint, right now, this is not a good look on him for this, this trade deadline and everything else. Yeah. No, I don't want to see him. No, he can't. He didn't back it up at the trade deadline. No, he said there's going to be changes. Okay. It is. It's a great little hockey city. And it's literally right near the amusement park. It's literally right there. It's all in one shot. It's great. Do I think Kreider would end up here? That kind of defeats the purpose of what all the fans want. I would be buying all my entire family Kreider, Kreider jerseys, Islander jerseys. That's how I would do. How do I feel about Mitch Marner? He will cost way too much. He is a soft player and a past getting too, we're getting along here in the show. Pass first player. We don't need him. Honestly, guys, I don't have Mitch Marner coming here. I don't. I don't know if he. To be honest with you, I was going to say I don't know if he fits the system. I don't know what system we're playing anyway. Um, I don't know if Mitch Marner would fit it. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see him leaving Toronto. That's number one. Um, I mean, if he comes to Long Island, he's going to be expensive. No doubt. He's looking. What's he looking for? 14 million. I don't think the Islanders are going to go that route. I just don't. Yeah, I know. I'm ignoring Randy at this point. I'm gonna try to get Shane Malloy back on here as well. Um, around draft time, it's a little tough, but I'm going to see if I can get Shane on this time around. Last year, we just couldn't connect, scheduling issues and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can get Shane Malloy back on here this coming summer. So we'll see. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the college free agents, folks. It's right there. They supplement the farm system, but they're ready to go. They're ready to go. Not like some of the CHL players who may need a little time in the East Coast Hockey League first. Yeah, character flush. I had. It's not a retool. It's not a rebuild. I had to come up with something right there. So I don't know. Glad you guys like that. uh that's true. Chicken fried steak is legit. Oh, Perkins? Yeah, I got Perkins by me too. It's not bad. The pancakes are pretty good over at Perkins. I went there. Probably not. Probably not. Why are the beat writers so afraid of questioning Lou? Because they already know what Lou's going to say. He's got the answer for everything. Again, this is the problem with working with an 82-year-old general manager who's been through the ringer a couple of times. He knows all the answers to give. There's no point. He's not going to give the answers. If not, it's going to be, a generic answer, Greg. They know this already with Lou. Ah, oh, Robin. Not this one. This one. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We'll see. Yeah. Next question. So, yeah, boys and girls, we're here for an hour and a half. Thank you for staying on with this rant here. Had to get that off my chest. I'm just tired of the underdog thing, the comments. You know, character flush is what has to happen. I'm going to stick with that. Forget the rebuild, forget the retool. It's a character flush. That's players, that's coaches. You know, when it's all said and done, maybe the general manager too. I don't know. Um, but we were promised change. Well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. The word change was used in his sentence, so it has to be significant. It has to be significant now. Players don't want to be here. Has to be traded. If it doesn't happen, terminate your contracts. Sorry, it's a players' league now. There's too many teams. Other players making just enough money. Sorry, you don't like it? Go down. Go down to the American League. You'll at least improve the American League. Coaches, time to figure out whether it's the players not buying into the system, they're not good enough for the system, or they're just being outcoached. We'll find that answer out too. But under no circumstances should there be a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year extension for Patrick Waugh. Let him be a lame duck this coming season. Bring in an associate coach to put a little more pressure on him. Oh, damn it, Cutler. But we'll find out. So, boys and girls, thank you once again for coming on. The show is needed. Sorry. Venting session time. Gary will probably be on next week. Joe, we'll see. I do have some stuff going on with me professionally, personally. I should be on next week, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time. Um, but for right now, we're looking at next Wednesday for now. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But again, thank you guys once again for coming on. Please like and follow us on Facebook at Isles Talk. You can also follow us on X on Isles Talk, X at Isles Talk, and you can also find me at P_Kreischer. And as mentioned before, YouTube, we're growing on it. Hit that like and subscribe button, especially like the videos. It helps with, boosting everything up and trying to grab that attention. We try to do it generically. We do look for quality over quantity, because these hockey chats are phenomenal. It's one of the reasons why we continue to go as long as we do. Another thank you going out to the Drive for Five Facebook group, the Worldwide group, the Angie's group, Bill's group, um, All Things Islanders, the Misery group. You guys are great. Thank you for allowing this show to come on every Wednesday. Been a privilege to help just spread some more Islander love around for you guys. So yeah, rant over. Needed. Sorry. Enjoy the rest of the season. For those of you that still go, God love you. And for the rest of us who have checked out, stick around. We'll chat a little bit more and we'll see what kind of changes actually come this summer. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. For better or for worse, character flush. Let's go, Islanders. See you next week.